Welcome everyone to the Simpliaxis Podcast. This is the very first episode, and I'm really excited to have our very first guest. We have Naveen here. He's my colleague, a fellow certified Scrum trainer who has been working professionally in this space for around 2 decades. And Naveen, if you would like to add maybe a couple of
Thank you so much,
sentences.
Vivek. Thank you
Sure.
so much, Vivek. I'm glad that you are inviting me for this first podcast from Simpliaxis. It's been a pleasure working with Simpliaxis all these whiles, having a lot of certified Scrum Master, product owner trainings, and being associated with the team here. And being part of this first session is a pride as well as a honor. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks a lot for being here. And I'm your host, Vivek and Naveen, co-founder at Simpliaxis and a certified Scrum trainer. Similar background such as Naveen. So, we are really excited to have this conversation. And the idea here is to talk about the state of agility in 2026. So we'll start the conversation there, and hopefully we can go deeper and also talk about what has been happening in the last couple of years with AI and how it is impacting the roles of a Scrum Master, product owner, and again going back to the overall state of Agile.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vivek. Nice topic, and we will certainly get
Right.
deeper insights on this.
Right. Yeah. So with that, let's jump right into it. Right. So I'm sure that you would have also noticed in the last year and a half or so, a lot of things have come up that are shaping how the state of Agile is going to be, or it is. And I would like to get maybe some initial thoughts on what do you think of the state of Agile today versus, let's say, if you had to think about 5 or 6 years back in 2020. So you had to just think about it, what it was then, what it is now, and what would be some initial thoughts.
I would put it up this way. If we go back 10 years back, every company wanted to prefix with Agile in whatever they do. Maybe sales, Agile business, Agile marketing, and everything is prefixed with the word Agile. And it was a buzzword that companies want associated with. And today, everybody wants to get associated with a prefix AI. Everywhere there is a prefix of AI marketing, AI sales, AI training, AI management, AI tools, everywhere. And that's a big transition that we are looking at in the industry. And this is also building up a lot of curiosity as well as fear within the system. I just want to share this event that happened yesterday and today in the market, wherein the application Anthropic AI has literally pulled the IT industries down by 10% yesterday and today. That's a big scare that companies across industries, across the globe are scared about the AI tools coming up. But it is the same companies which invest into building such AIs as well. So it is like, I am scared of having a robot, but then we are performing an R&D and building new robots to serve new services. Yeah, that's where we are in as of today, that every person wants to prefix themselves with a AI. And 10 years back, people might ask, do you have a Agile training? Today, they specifically ask, do you have AI training?
Right.
And that's also a change that we are looking for. Yeah.
And thanks for bringing that up, because, I was going to jump into the AI conversation as well. But, now I'm thinking that, is it sort of like a bell curve where, we're talking about Agile, then we are talking about AI, then are we going to talk about like HI, which I call it human intelligence, going back to the basics that, sound logic, and you need the emotional quotient as a human being. I think that part still is needed, whichever stage we are in. So do you think that, I'm not going to, I know you're planning to add something there, but just so that I complete my thought. So are we looking at this as not a wave, but okay, it is here to stay, but is the fear justified that, okay, if I don't jump into the bandwagon of the latest and greatest tool, like, okay, we were talking about Anthropic, or we were talking about Gemini or ChatGPT, or, I mean, we have all these LLMs that are there. So is it an irrational fear for a Scrum Master, who's either about to step into the role, or maybe has been working for a while, that where do I stand? Would I even have a job in a few years from now? So what do you think about that? What's your take on it?
Okay, I would just go back in time and then give an example. A similar situation happened way back in 2000 and early 2000, when we had a dot-com boom as well as computerization. Almost every banking sector got feared. The employees in the banking sectors were feared. The clerical activities were feared, saying that, oh, everything is going to be replaced with a computer and we'll have a digitalized version of it. So there is no bookkeeper, there are no other roles for us, and what is going to happen for us? And then eventually today, 20 years later, if you see, there are more jobs that is created through the computer's interventions into the organization.
Absolutely.
And there was a fear when it was the very first time introduced. I think it is the same kind of a fear of not knowing. So, people usually have a fear when they don't know things. And today, we don't know what is this AI going to do in all the fields, in specific to our life, our specific work domain areas. So there's always a fear of not knowing things. So this fear, I'm sure, is like somebody not knowing about snakes, fear to touch the snake, and somebody who knows about it is not feared. And should the Scrum Masters be worried about this? Will their jobs be taken away? I personally feel that both agility as well as AI, the foundation is human intelligence. The foundation is human values. If you remove the human aspect, agility will fall down. AI will also not stand in. So if we remove and make these things independent of a human interventions, I think we are not going to get a value out of it. It is going to be a garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
So yes, these AI, we have to look at it as a supporting tool, or the person who's supporting us, a subject matter expert supporting my decision making. So with the interventions of an AI tools, we should be able to take better decisions, mature decisions. We shouldn't be scared about it.
Right.
Does a job gets impacted? Maybe. We don't know. But then, will new jobs be created? Obviously. So should we look at removing a redundant job and looking forward for a new potential career? Answer is yes. I would look forward for that potential of a new career that opens up for people, than getting scared of, like, I used to do this work for the last 5 years. Do I continue to do the same thing in the next 5 years? Answer is probably no.
Yeah.
So it would be more of like, get ready for a new dimensions in your workplace.
Yeah. No, and thanks for sharing that, because I was talking to one of the students in my class, and they were asking about this, that they saw this position and it said AI Scrum Master. So they were curious that, okay, what are you exactly looking for? Are you looking for someone who is really proficient at tools? Like, oh, we use ChatGPT to write better user stories, right? Or we use, let's say, Jira has this great AI feature. Now everyone is on that bandwagon, right? Like Apple calls it AI as Apple Intelligence, right? Jira calls it Atlassian Intelligence. So you still have that AI. Right. So I think nice play on words. So like in Jira, you have this option of letting AI take the first pass at prioritizing the backlog, based on deadlines and dependencies and all of that stuff. So his question was around that, okay, if I get proficient at these tools and become a Scrum Master, would that satisfy the need? And I'll share what I said to that, and then feel free to add what you think about it. So my thinking around that, I think that yes, as things evolve and change, you certainly have to keep up with time. So there's no question about it. It's sort of like saying I'll just close my eyes and the cat will go away. No, you still have to make sure you make the right move. However, what I did also tell him that it's important that you don't look at AI as one-stop solution for everything and stop your own thinking. Because it's very easy for it to also kind of make you lazy. Not using your brain enough.
Yeah.
And then later on, sort of like, oh, AI generated that, so I don't have to worry about it. Well, I mean, it's still your stamp on it. So, so everything that you ship out is still going to be backed by a person, So I think that sense of accountability still does not go away. That still remains with a human. So you're sharing the responsibility, but the accountability is still there. So my way of looking at that was, yes, I think you need to certainly learn as much as you can based on what's available. So, but again, tomorrow, if and when things go wrong, you can't just blame AI or the tool and say, well, it's not me, it's the tool who did it. Because again,
right.
As professionals, you have to own up to it. You are using the tool, so of course, So that's what I had to say about that. So
yeah, I resonate with you on that particular part of it. I usually say this: tools don't have brain. It's a user's brain that the tool has. So you use anything. Anything is a tool, and a tool should make your job easier, faster, better, and simpler. If a tool doesn't make your job easier, faster, better, and simpler, either you're using a wrong tool or you don't know how to use it. Simple as that. Now, AI is also another tool. So AI does not have a brain. Your brain is the AI's brain, which means, I'll give you an example. When ChatGPT was introduced, I literally spent 2 night outs creating some content using just the prompts on the ChatGPT. And I was just going with the flow, giving a statement, I'm a Scrum Master, I want to write a book and this is what it is. Just a few thoughts. Believe me, I spent about 48 hours with the tool, and after 48 hours, I generated about 200 pages worth of book content. And to eventually close that book saying that this is a perfect example of how you should not use the ChatGPT for writing a book. In fact, it created all the junk information, wrong informations related to Scrum Master and agility. And then you sit back and look at it, it's basically, where is this AI getting the intelligence from? It is from the network, internet, the articles, and then the blogs and the details that is available. So I was very specific that you're reading a garbage, you're processing a garbage, and you're giving me a packed garbage content. And that is not what we want.
Right.
So if you have to know whether this is a garbage or really a productive outcome, then human intelligence is very much required. So usually what I say to a Scrum Master is, a learning AI tool should be with the mindset of doing your activity faster, easier, better, simpler. But it should not replace your brain. Your intelligence, your decision making, your emotional connect cannot be replaced with an AI tool or a prompt. So we could just use, let's say, Atlassian Jira's prompt to write a user story. But claiming that, okay, we have used a perfect requirement using a tool, we have all the things written, the story, the acceptance criteria, the conditions, risk, everything. But you don't spend time talking to your team members. No matter how detailed it is, how clear it is, it has no value, because the first value of the Agile Manifesto is individuals versus individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So now with the interventions of a tool, you're giving focus to the tool,
right,
than to the interactions that is more valuable in a complex situations. So the tools, I would say, yes, you have to learn the tool, but the tool you should not become a slave for a tool. The tool should be a consistent partner for you. So a partner should not scare you. It should support you in your decision making. And that's what I would talk about for a Scrum Master, saying, learn everything that is a tool, because you don't know which tool is useful when. It is unique. Each person has their own thoughts for using it. But the tool itself is not the word for you.
Okay. Now that's, I think, pretty amazing. Just going back to what you said earlier about user stories and, using Jira or any other tool to generate stories. So what I've found is, I'm just switching gears a little bit from Scrum Master to Product Owner, because I'm seeing more and more product owners, they are using AI to, use the templates to generate stories, and nothing wrong with that. Of course, if it helps you to get your job done quicker and increase your overall productivity, I'm all up for that. But what I've also found is that the fundamental understanding of what's the purpose of a story and how should it be written, if you don't know that, and if you just go to the tool, then it is going to be extremely challenging to have a conversation about something that you don't understand. So I think that is another, so I'm looking at think of maybe the other side of using AI, and going back to what I was saying, that it could also make you lazy to learn something. So unless you have a strong foundation, strong understanding of the subject matter, I mean, in this particular case, we are talking about user stories. It is going to be highly difficult for new product owners who are just getting introduced or getting into the workforce, that, okay, I'm really proficient at prompting, but I don't understand what I'm prompting about.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that is something, I did talk to a couple of product owners about that. Just be careful about that have a solid foundation, solid base. And then, yes, you can definitely use AI to augment your overall learning experience and, do it faster. Your thoughts on this?
No, I want to share a very interesting one. The extreme programming, the brain of extreme programming, Ron Jeffries. You all know, he is one of the co-creators of this Agile Manifesto and the signatories of Agile Manifesto. Extreme programming person. Way back in 2016, if I remember the date correct, 16th of May or 30th of May, 2016, that's almost 10 years back, he put up a tweet which said, as an author of Agile Manifesto, I would like the stupid story format to go away so that people can focus on the essence of user stories.
Right.
So now what is happening? I always look at it this way, be it a subject, best practice in the industry or a tool. Let's assume that if we go back 10 years back, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years back, did we have a best practice or a tool? Answer is no. Then somebody like you and me wanted to improvise the situation that we are in decision making or easing out the work that we are doing. So now if I have to ease out my work of, say, describing the requirement to somebody, and you created a template which would answer a basic questions like, who is this requirement for? What is that they are looking for? Why do they want it? That was suitable at that point in time for the originator to describe that, look, my customers are this way and this is what I want to convey, and it was their specific technique of using. Now what happens is every tool has a brain behind the user. So this is what I say, in the industry, the biggest mistake that every organization, every team members or the companies would do is just blindly copy paste the tools. Why I say blindly copy paste the tool is this. People look at the user story format. They'll say, okay, this is a user story format. As a specific ... I have to do this so that I can achieve this. That's just a template. But then when you go back, the thought process behind why we did it, why was the template useful, why, when, that is completely forgotten because it was with the originator. And now people, it's very easy to copy the tool. So the next person will copy the tool and then start writing, okay, here as a specific ... user. Today, you know what is the situation? People ask me, hey Naveen, how do I convert a defect into a user story? And in one of the class, I asked them, why do you want to convert a defect into a user story? And the response is, Naveen, we are an agile company, our management wants everything to be written in user story format. I'm like, okay, forget it. Send your management to this course because they need to be brainwashed with what is a user story. It's not just copying the same template to everything. And I asked, what are the user stories that you write? They say, as a code developer, fix the defect ID 123. As a test engineer, validate the defect ID 123. These are the two user stories that the company is writing. And they are happy claiming that we are agile because we write user stories in our backlog. I looked at it and I was like, no, this is being fooling around. And now if I go back, the tool, let's say Atlassian Jira tool, can give you a perfectly written user story, but not the intent.
Not the intent. Yeah.
It is missing that human intelligence and the human intent behind it. You cannot convey the intent in that part.
No, you can't. I mean, that is going to be embedded in a conversation, understanding of that, and then reflected in what you're going to write. But going back to the format that you're talking about, okay, as a coder, I want to program this, or as a tester, this is. So that sort of reminded me of something, sort of like a little childhood story.
Mm-hmm.
When we were kids, you go to school, you don't do the homework, the teacher would write on a diary or something, homework not done. So that was one of the times where the teacher, she wrote down homework not done. And I was a bit scared that, okay, I have to get it signed by my parents, so guess what? Like a kid, I did not show it to them. Like, okay, if I don't think of a problem, it'll go away. Right? Next morning came, okay, back to school again. Teacher asked the same question. Hey, where's that? Did you get it signed? Sorry, I did not. So she wrote another note. The note was the note not signed.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was worried even more because I have now two notes, So the first one was homework not done. Second was note not signed. So now I was really worried that, okay, now, I really have to, show it to my parents. So I showed it to my dad in the evening and I said that, this is what happened. And so he looked at that. And what he said was quite funny. I mean, it was not funny back then because, I was just worried about that. Hey, I have to, bear the consequences of that. But what he said that, okay, if I don't sign this, is the teacher going to write the note not signed? You see, right? So is it just the sake of doing something that, because you just have to get like a checker box that, I'm doing my duty, whether it makes sense or not. So, so his intention was that homework not done was enough. She could have just put a star or something that, you have to get it signed or maybe something. But just writing that note is there, not signed, and kind of made me think of that format thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, I have another interesting story similar with our experience. This was about 6-7 years back. I was asked to coach a company and the team. The first day I landed up in this particular team for coaching, I looked at their backlog. The backlog in the Jira tool had a text. The title of the requirement was continued. 7 times. And I specifically asked them, where is the title or the text of this particular requirement? It just says continued, and that too 7 times. Why? The response was, Naveen, this started 7 sprints back. We have still not completed it. So every time we finish the sprint, we just say continued and then copy it to the next one. And this has been there for 7 sprints. I said, you have not understood the context at all. And this is just tracking. No, but then how would we know when did we start, when did we finish? So the number of continued will tell us when did we start and finish. This is like giving a tool to a person who does not know how to use it, and this is the results that we would get at. So I have seen this kind of situations also where people don't.
I mean, I've seen similar situation back in the day, but just trying to bring the conversation back to, now and, I'm just thinking, okay, where do we see, where are the Scrum Masters and product owners headed towards? And what I'm noticing as a pattern, and again, feel free to chime in your thoughts on this. What I'm seeing is the team size is getting smaller. I'm seeing there's a pattern that you'll have a team of 3 or 4 people, plus an AI agent, and there's going to be a role expansion or responsibility expansion for that particular role. Like a Scrum Master won't be a Scrum Master, just, the one-on-one ratio won't be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Would be maybe 2 to 3 teams, or could be even more than that. And after a while, because going back to that tooling conversation, but maybe looking at maybe some of the positives also, or maybe depending on how you look at that, is I think that time is not far where in the daily scrums, you'll have an AI agent, my representation, just taking notes and putting tasks there. But jokes apart, but what I'm actually seeing is smaller teams and the role scaling across because of the introduction of more AI agents. So I mean that's what I see if I had to sort of look into that prism. I mean, future is highly unpredictable. Who knows what's going to happen? But that's what I see, that maybe in the next few years, that's where the role is headed towards.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a situation like this. If there are certain companies or the teams who are literally looking at daily scrums as a status updates.
Right.
No, they have a good news actually. They can just go ahead, give a prompt to, let's say, Atlassian, Jira tool, AI, and then say, get all the team members summary of yesterday's work and summary of today's planned work. Is there anything blocking them? You don't need a daily scrum.
Right.
And this is absolute wrong way of doing things using an AI.
And by the way, this is not a promotion for Atlassian tools, right? We are just talking about Atlassian because most people are familiar with that. I mean, there are other tools also. You have ADO, you have Monday, you have Rally. I mean, there are many tools out there. Yeah, exactly. But Atlassian is something which most people have heard of. So don't think of this as a promotion towards that. Sorry, please
then
continue.
I would also say that there are a lot of organizations or teams whom I have personally met.
Yeah.
They feel like using an Atlassian AI tool, I mean, the Jira tool itself is an Agile project.
Right.
I mean, that's a nonsense. Come on, it's a tool.
Yeah.
But
I absolutely resonate with that sentiment that just because we have spent the licensing fee in acquiring the tool, so now we are an Agile company. So that is something that I've also seen. Just because we are using a tool, we are using the terms, so that is something that has existed for a while. But I think now it doesn't surprise me as much that even in 2026 we are talking about this, because I think some things still remain the same.
There is one more situation. An incident that took place. I was in a conference. This was an in-house conference in a big company. A tools person is presenting a tool, and then he claims that use our tool and your company and your teams will be agile, because it will exactly send a message when the daily scrum is supposed to be. It will exactly monitor your planning activities. It will tell you what is your capacity. It will tell you what is your planned activity. Everything you will get to know in the tool, and your teams would be agile if you use this tool. The process of getting started with agile is very easy with this tool. I looked at it and I was like, what you're talking about is the assistant work. It is not the mindset.
Right.
So, and today I'm sure people would just repeat the same statement with, get our AI, your team or company would be AI agile, cognizant.
Let's change the domain to .ai and we are an AI company.
Exactly.
Right.
The prefix or postfix, AI is everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the thought process that I have with respect to AI.
Awesome. So I'm thinking maybe let's circle back and maybe some final thoughts, and we'll just wrap this up. So what do you think? Going back to that original opening statement about the state of agility in 2026. So like I said, I'm thinking that team size shrinking, the role, let's say specifically, let's talk about Scrum Master scaling across the teams. Do you see a similar thing that could be happening, or is there anything else that, as new Scrum Masters, they step into this role, they are like, already shy, and now they have to also learn about the tools, what they should be thinking and expecting and be maybe ready for in 2026?
Right. So some of the guidelines or kind of like suggestions that I would think of for a new Scrum Master is, one, you cannot compromise on understanding Scrum from its roots. You have to be a master of Scrum. So typically a Scrum Master is a master of Scrum. So you need to be mastery over the subject of Scrum guide and then understand where it can be applied. So for example, a true Scrum Master, according to me, is a person. If I have a project in hardware engineering, the Scrum Master should be able to build a team as well as implement Scrum there. And if the same person says, I'm a Scrum Master, of course, they're master of Scrum, you should be able to do it for farming. You should be able to do it for education. Scrum is the same. The Scrum Master should be skilled enough in such a way that the Scrum can be applied to any domain area. And that is the mastery that you have to get as a first point. The second point is you should learn about the tools, but with the intent of the tool is helping me make my decisions more matured and faster. Not depending on the tool, but then getting the info from the tool. So that's the mindset. The third one is the upcoming Scrum Masters who are getting into this domain. I would strongly recommend them to have this mindset of how is your situation's life going to change with the introduction of AI into the work nature, because what you would be hearing from people is their experience without AI tools.
Right.
For example, if I talk to somebody, let's say if I ask you, how was your Scrum Master experience when you started back in 2002, 2003, 2005?
Right.
You would always say that this was the experience, but that is without AI.
Right.
And your thought process and then the challenges, the speed at which you are working on was completely different than what we can imagine today.
That is correct, yeah.
I was talking to one of my friend and he said, Naveen, I had a team of 12 people and we used to have Scrum, but it was completely messed up because there were a lot of things that were pending, a lot of things happening. And today I have only 3 people, myself and 2 people to assist me, and we use an AI tool and agent, and we are able to do a lot of work and also save time for ourselves. So his team is reduced to 3. And as you rightly mentioned, the evolution with the new tool also helps you make a better decisions and go on with the new kind of activities. So I don't think you can just have the same thought process in a new word and then continue. You have to adapt to the new things, and then your strategy should evolve. You cannot just depend on something that is old. A beautiful thing that I would say is even Mike Cohen. You know Mike Cohen. So even Mike Cohen once said, I think if I had to think about the estimations book today, I wouldn't have written it. Because he himself agreed that this is suitable at that time, not now. So I wouldn't probably relook at it. Or
stay abreast of the times. The fundamental, the values and principles don't change, right? But you certainly have to keep up with the time and adjust with the current reality. Scrum Master back in 2010 versus Scrum Master in 2026.
Exactly.
Unless they adapt, they'll have a really hard time with it. So, I think that's so. The good news is the role is here to stay still.
Absolutely, but with not the same kind of a thought process or an activity. You will have the Scrum Master role would continue to sustain with the thought process of you're still a master of Scrum.
Right.
So using Scrum without AI, using Scrum with AI is still a Scrum Mastery.
True.
And then using the thought process of a Scrum Master, it shouldn't be a product owner, Scrum Master, team members are talking through the AI tools.
True.
A fun note that I received is the manager asked to write a report to his employee, and the employee says, hey ChatGPT, can you write a report for this? My manager is asking for it. And then he writes it down, gets it from a ChatGPT, send it to his manager, and the manager puts it to a Gemini and says, hey, here is the article that is written by my report that is created my team member. Can you please evaluate and give me the suggestions? And then the Gemini gives them suggestions, and he would just copy paste that to the team member and say like, hey, here are your comments for your article. Can you update it? And this guy, ChatGPT, can you please incorporate these things and then send it across? So instead of the people having a conversation, the mindset, the strategic thinking coming up, we should not become a slaves of a AI tool itself. Tool is good as long as it is used for your better decision making. It should help you in your activities. It should help you in getting more matured, not hampering you. And at any given point of time, my suggestion to product owners, Scrum Masters, or even the team members is use the tool in such a way that the day the tool is not available for you, you will still be equally sustainable.
Right. You're still able to function.
Yes. So it shouldn't become a bottleneck. It shouldn't become a bottleneck. Now, what happens usually is people are so much relying on a tool that nowadays I hear people even write email using a tool. So that means you have lost your sentence formation. You have lost your intent. You have lost your ideas, what you want to express. So use a tool for your better decision making and maturity rather than as a substitute to speed up your work on not looking at it.
Okay. No, I think that's great. And with that, thank you very much, Naveen. I think that's a perfect note to finish our very first conversation. I think the good news is the role is here to stay, but the Scrum Master has to evolve. The product owner has to evolve and adapt to what's happening around us. Embrace AI, but also not lose the human element as well, because that is essential. And with that, I will just close the very first conversation, and we would like to hear from you what you would like to hear next. And thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you.
And I would be thank you for inviting me on this. And I'm glad that you did not ask me for a Naveen's AI agent to answer the questions.
No, it's good and refreshing to talk to an actual person rather than yeah.
Thank you so much, and best wishes for this series of the sessions that is coming up. I'm sure the viewers will also learn a lot more from the industry experts.
That's the hope. That's why you call in an expert.
Thank you
again.
so
Thank
much.
you, Naveen. Thank you. Thank you.